my senior year. I was actually running late for school that day, and I was frantically trying to get ready and get out the door when my mom came running into my bedroom and screamed, "They're bombing New York City." I kind of stopped and looked at her and said, "Who? What? Why?" I chased after her into the living room where CNN was already on the TV, and the North Tower of the World Trade Center was already ablaze. It didn't take long for us to learn that a plane, not a bomb, had hit the tower. My mother and I sat there confused, as everyone was, trying to piece together what was happening, when another plane came into the picture. I remember blinking once, kind of shaking my head as if I was seeing things. And when I opened my eyes, there was a huge explosion coming from the South Tower. I think I screamed, but all I could hear was silence. I stood there dumbfounded, with my hands cupping my face, and the tears finally started to flow. That's when I felt this overwhelming need to get to school, to be with my friends, to be with my peers, and to be someplace that I felt safe. On the way to school, I learned that a third plane had hit the Pentagon. And I got to my class, and every single face in the room was red. Everyone was crying. Everyone was so upset. We're holding each other saying, "Why is this happening?" The teachers tried in vain to continue with normal classes, but it didn't last for very long. I remember one student finally saying, "Please, please, can we just turn on the TV?" And the teacher did. And what I saw next will forever be etched into my memory. People were jumping from the towers, desperate people clutching to the one last bit of control they had, which was choosing how they were going to die that day. I can't ever recall being so unbelievably sad, and the uncertainty of what was going to happen next was crippling. Who would do such a thing? Were more attacks coming? Instead of going to college, would some of us be going to war? But something else kind of remarkable also happened on 9/11. We saw it on a small scale here at our school, in our communities, but also on the national level. The lines that normally divided us sort of faded away. We weren't jocks or nerds, we weren't black or white, we weren't rich or poor or Republican or Democrat. That day, and for a long time to follow, we were just Americans, bound by our love and pride in our country. United we stand became the nation's mantra. The day after the attacks, the nation leapt into action, and Foothills was no exception. Groups all over campus began doing whatever they could to aid in relief and rescue efforts. Students organized blood drives, they collected donations, they held car washes and sold cupcakes. Our senior class that year took it a little step further. Homecoming was only a few weeks after September 11th, and the theme that year was superheroes. Instead of a fancy float, our homecoming committee painted plywood black and in big white words wrote, "Real superheroes don't wear capes." Our float budget went to the Red Cross to support the real superheroes. Watching all these different people from all different walks of life come together with the common goal of helping fellow Americans for no other reason than they needed help was nothing short of amazing. While I'll never forget the horror of that day, I will also never forget the unity and the camaraderie that managed to somehow fill our hearts.